When Thomas Breakwell's visit to Akka was coming to a close, Abdu'l-Bahá told him that he should go back to Paris and settle there, and he should work with May Bowles to lay the foundations for the Baha'i faith in Europe. And so Thomas did exactly that. Having cabled his resignation to his employer in America, he left the Holy Land and he went back to Paris, and he and May set about laying the foundations for the Baha'i community of Paris. And the two of them, along with a growing group of friends, really became like two foundation stones in the bedrock of what is today the European Baha'i community. And it's very humbling to look at how Thomas lived his life after he came back from the Holy Land, and how he went from being this hotshot young businessman to this person whose entire life was devoted to serving the people around him. And this desire to be of service to others expressed itself in sometimes in the most simple, mundane aspects of his life. For example, he adopted the habit of walking to all his meetings in order to save on the cost of public transport, so that he could give more for the needs of the community. And interestingly, Thomas Breakwell was the very first person in the West to observe the Baha'i law of huququllah. So huququllah is a little bit like tithes in Christianity or zakat in Islam. It consists of paying a small portion of one's excess wealth, if one has it, to go towards ensuring the well-being and the progress of the community as a whole. And while many Baha'is in the East had been making this payment for some time, Thomas was actually the very first person in the entire Western world to offer this special payment for the community. And after his return from the Holy Land, Thomas Breakwell, he kept up a regular correspondence with Abdu'l-Bahá in the years that followed. Every 2 weeks, like clockwork, he would send a letter to Abdu'l-Bahā's interpreter, Yunus Khan. And Yunus Khan would translate Thomas's letters into Persian for Abdu'l-Bahá to read. And in turn, he would then translate Abdu'l-Bahā's responses into English, and he would send them to Thomas in Paris. And one day, Abdu'l-Bahá came to Yunus Khan. This was about 3 years after Thomas's visit to the Holy Land. And quite out of the blue, Abdu'l-Bahá said to Yunus Khan, "Did you hear? Breakwell has ascended." I was heartbroken. I have written a moving tablet of visitation for him. I wrote it with such emotion that I wept as I wrote. You must translate it well, so that he who reads it will not be able to hold back his tears. Thomas had contracted tuberculosis, and his health had deteriorated rapidly, and at the age of just 30, he had suddenly passed away in a hospital bed in Paris. And Yunus Khan said that he never figured out how Abdu'l-Bahá had known this, since all of the mail from Europe came through him, and he didn't even know. And so I wanted to share with you a brief account written by Yunus Khan about his receipt of this tablet from Abdu'l-Bahá and his memories of Thomas Breakwell. He writes, 2 days later I received the tablet of visitation for Breakwell. It was heartrending. Several times Abdu'l-Bahá repeats the words, "Oh Breakwell, oh my dear one." My tears flowed uncontrollably. According to his instructions, I translated the tablet into 2 languages, French, and with the help of Mrs. Lua Getzinger, into English, and dispatched them. The deeply felt impressions left by that young man lingered in the hearts for a number of years. 3 years later, when I was in Paris in the company of Monsieur Dreyfus, the first French Baha'i, he told me many stories about Breakwell. When this young man was in the hospital, he related, all the doctors, nurses, and patients were overwhelmed by the intensity of his devotion and spiritual attraction, for he invited all to the divine kingdom. Some were perplexed and moved, but some of the patients made spiteful and taunting remarks. Armed with only a few words of English, they sneered at him, pointing their fingers at him and repeating the words, "You are dying! You are dying!" To which he responded, laughing, "I am not dying. I am going to the kingdom. There I will intercede for you." At his death, all the nurses wept, and thus he left an enduring memory in the hearts of those who knew him in that hospital. So there's something mysterious about the legacy left by Thomas Breakwell in such a short time. But I think that it is the nature of a spiritual legacy that the amount of time is irrelevant. And I think that what's important about the enduring spiritual legacy that each of us will leave is the quality of our heart and the effect that quality has had on the people around us and the generations that will follow us. And in the case of Thomas Breakwell's legacy, I think it is beautifully described by Violette Nakhjavani, who left an incredible spiritual legacy of her own. And she wrote of Thomas Breakwell the following. She said, "Thomas Breakwell was like a comet that blazed above the skies of Paris at the turn of the century. None could equal his ardour and sincerity. None could match the fervour of his faith." So tomorrow, this new song, "Breakwell, My Dear One," will be released on YouTube. And as you are no doubt aware, tomorrow is the 20th anniversary of the attacks of September 11th. And so I'm going to make an extra video tomorrow to share with you some thoughts that I've had about how this tablet that Abdu'l-Bahá wrote for this young Englishman speaks in a very deep way to the events of September 11th. And so I'm going to share that video with you tomorrow. And in the meantime, I hope that you'll look out for the song on YouTube tomorrow. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this portion of the vignettes about this very special friendship between Abdu'l-Bahá and Thomas Breakwell. Thanks for watching.